India-Pakistan Flashpoint, the Indian subcontinent in deep crisis. Yesterday, in a very serious cross border terrorist attack, quite obviously sponsored by the military regime in Pakistan, 26 innocent civilians were killed and more than 20 wounded in Pahalgam of Jammu and Kashmir. They were killed not because they were army men, they were not killed because they were politicians. They were killed, and that's the most horrible thing, most condemnable thing, most obnoxious and repugnant thing. They were killed because they were Hindus. I hate to say this, but unfortunately, the facts and circumstances of this most ominous development compel me to make this statement. And there is no point in hiding ourselves from harsh realities. Truth has to be stated, reality has to be confronted, and decisive action resorted to in order to bring the situation under control. Decisive as well as appropriate. Now, let's look at the situation. Anyone who is familiar with the Indo-Pakistan scenario, particularly anyone who has been following up the developments in the Balochistan province of Pakistan in recent times, would understand why a major terrorist event like this has happened. In other words, the roots of this most revolting uh, episode run deep into Balochistan. The Pak army has been facing deep embarrassments in Balochistan, having had to face setbacks one after the other. And the Pakistan army, under the leadership of General Asim Munir, suspects deeply India's hand behind these events, though India has vehemently disowned any responsibility for it, but the Pakistani military establishment believes otherwise. And especially in one of his recent speeches, General Asim Munir had given all indication that this will not go unpunished. And therefore, it is not fanciful to connect the Pahalgam tragedy, the Pahalgam atrocity, to the vindictiveness, particularly of the army chief, General Asim Munir. The second thing to note here is the timing of this episode. It's clearly timed for the India visit of the American Vice President J.D. Vance, as well as the visit of the Indian Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi to Saudi Arabia, and the growing understanding and cooperation between India and Saudi Arabia. I would not be surprised as a third factor if this has also something to do with the confrontation, simmering confrontation or competition or tension, if you like, between America and China. I say this because the essence of the Pakistani foreign policy is that it plays off America against China and China against America. Pakistan, as we all know, has a military understanding with China, having generously donated a large chunk of territory belonging to the Pakistan-administered Kashmir or POK, in exchange for which China has undertaken responsibility for Pakistani security to an extent. China also has very deep involvement, economic involvement with Pakistan, the details of which are not particularly relevant here at this stage. So, the tension between between America and China, at the visit of the American Vice President of India, all this sets up the stage for this episode. Now, the third thing I need to mention is, and this is somewhat in the realm of speculation, you might say, but this is a safe and well-founded speculation to make, and that is, I really don't believe that an episode of this magnitude could have been acted out in Pahalgam without the knowledge of America. I really cannot believe it, because Pakistan is so much under the thumb of America. Pakistan cannot do anything significant without American knowledge and without American connivance. And I would also say that Pakistan would also have taken the relevant Chinese authorities into confidence. Now, if you ask me for documentary evidence, I have to say, unfortunately, there is none. But this is a circumstantial inference based on whatever has been brewing for a period of time. Now, as for the American influence on Pakistan and the extent to which America controls developments in Pakistan, all of us recall how just a casual statement by an undersecretary in the Biden administration resulted in the overthrow of Prime Minister Imran Khan. And the army, then under the leadership of General Bajwa, saw to it that the very popular Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan was kicked out of office in no time. And since then, Asim Munir has taken over. That too cannot happen without the American consent and connivance. And America, which is a vociferous devotee and supporter and defender of democracy all over the world, America has been a mute witness to the organized butchery of democracy in Pakistan, democracy in Pakistan in the 2024 general elections, February of 2024. You can't imagine democratic elections more rigged, more abused, more degraded than what happened in Pakistan. The situation in Pakistan is that it is the army chief who decides who should be the president of Pakistan, who should be the prime minister of Pakistan, who should be the chief justice of Pakistan, and so on and so forth. Now, this degree of dominance of the army establishment rests singularly on one foundation, and that is hatred towards India. This is a very significant aspect, and the significance of that I'll deal with immediately, very soon indeed, in this very video. So, if you want to understand what is happening between India and Pakistan, I think we also need to understand the long-term military cooperation between America and Pakistan, as well as the complete dominance of the American control over Pakistan. And nobody can be the army chief of Pakistan without American blessing. So, I really can't believe that an event of this magnitude, timing as it has been timed with the visit of J.D. Vance to India, could have happened without American knowledge. I'm not saying American instigation, but American knowledge. You might say that this is far-fetched because it is timed to synchronize with the visit of the American Vice President. But that is precisely the point. But in this video, I don't want to expatiate on the connection. Maybe there'll be an occasion for it soon enough in another video. So this is something that we have to clearly understand. In Pakistan, it's not the civilian government, it is the army establishment that calls all the shots, all the shots. And for the army establishment to maintain its hegemony, it is necessary to create this anti-India policy, anti-India hatred. And therefore, my argument, and this is something to which I attach great importance, my argument is that the unfortunate situation between India and Pakistan cannot improve so long as this most monstrous, democratically untenable, and manifestly unjust situation prevails in Pakistan. The people of Pakistan deserve democracy. They have been cheated of democracy, and that too under the connivance of America. And unless and until democracy is restored to Pakistan, I do not expect any change or any improvement in the present unfortunate scenario. Now, you would recall that the Pulwama attack happened, and that was timed, maybe accidentally, but it was timed to coincide with the Indian elections, and that yielded very rich electoral dividends to BJP. All that's common knowledge in the public domain, and there is no need for me to repeat this. And India retorted with an attack on Balakot. The exact nature of the attack and all the rest of it is still a closely guarded secret. When Sam Pitroda said that he would like to see some evidence about what has happened and the extent of damage inflicted on Pakistan, he was accused of being an anti-national element. But I like to go with the army version. The army says, the Air Force says that a substantial attack was mounted on Balakot, and I take it as the done thing. But the point I want to emphasize, underscore, is this. Such attacks do not solve our problem. They may serve to give us some psychological relief or some satisfaction, tit for tat. But what we need is not tit for tat, because tit for tat perpetuates this most unfortunate arrangement of the chronic sacrifices of innocent lives on both sides. What we need is a solution to the problem. And in this video, my concern, my focus is only on the solution to the problem. Now, as far as I am concerned, this particular development has taken India and Pakistan closer than ever before to a most horrendous confrontation for two reasons. One, the embarrassment that Narendra Modi and Amit Shah have to face if they swallow this attack without due reprisal. Because this attack is meant to prick the bubble of the claim made by the Indian establishment that through the exercise undertaken of dividing Jammu and Kashmir into three chunks and denying statehood to Jammu and Kashmir, turning into a centrally administered or now partially centrally administered territory, will solve all the problems. In fact, this attack gives the lie to that claim. Normalcy has not returned. And therefore, this is a frontal challenge to the central government, and the government cannot look the other way. It has to retaliate, and I'm sure retaliation is coming and coming very soon. The second reason why there will be and there has to be a massive reaction from the Indian side is that if India stomachs this insult, it will lend credence to the Pakistani allegation that India is behind all the troubles brewing in Balochistan. Because after all, this attack is being organized as a reprisal to the Indian involvement or India inflicting many cuts on Pakistan through its nefarious subterranean or hidden involvement in the turmoil that's brewing in Balochistan. So that also mounts enough pressure on New Delhi to react and react very decisively. But then reactions, the like of which we have seen so far. Suppose the reaction is that uh, uh, instead of a tooth for a tooth, it is two teeth for one tooth. Let's consider. Even that is not a solution. That may have some kind of propagandist value, but it will have no value, absolutely no value in terms of solving the problem. My humble submission is this: if the problem is to be solved, at least to a substantial extent, that solution lies not in India but in Pakistan. This is my ardent belief. The solution is delivering Pakistan from its endemic curse of military domination. Pakistan is one of the most militarized nations in the world. In fact, there's a main reason why Pakistan is now a failed state, or Pakistan is considered globally as a rogue state. Pakistan is a tragedy unfolding itself right in front of us. The people of Pakistan deserve better. I've had occasions to participate in or be part of the people to people contact movement between India and Pakistan. I can tell you that there is so much love and goodwill between the peoples of India and Pakistan. There's absolutely no problem between Indians and Pakistanis. The problem is that the Pakistani military establishment still has not been able to digest the fact that India played a liberating role in the 1971 action that saw the severing of one part of Pakistan, the then East Pakistan, and the birth of a new nation called Bangladesh. In the wake of which the Pakistani military establishment swore that it would continue to inflict 1,000 cuts on India. And this declaration is not necessarily to help Pakistan. It was to secure complete control over Pakistan and to perpetuate the hegemony of the army establishment to the detriment of the democratic aspirations of the people of Pakistan. I say it again, the people of Pakistan deserve better. And India should actually handle this situation in an attitude of compassion to the people of Pakistan, besides attitude of doing justice to the people in Jammu and Kashmir and the innocent victims who have suffered and their grieving families, etc., etc. Now, that is possible, in my opinion, only with a regime change in Pakistan. I say it again, it's possible only with a regime change in Pakistan. I hate to have to say this. And I say this also factoring in the reality that India and Pakistan both are nuclear states. So I'm not saying this in a very naive, casual, offhand kind of manner. I'm saying this after a lot of thinking. Whether or not it is possible to undertake such a mission, I don't know. I'm not a military expert. But I know one thing: as long as the present arrangement of misgovernance and political oppression continues in Pakistan, as long as democracy is, is neutralized and rendered defunct in Pakistan, as long as the hegemony of the military establishment continues, as long as the commander-in-chief of the Pakistani army is the one calling all the shots, and army has vested interests in keeping the India-Pakistan relationship bleeding, not only fuming but also bleeding, the problem cannot and will not end. There's no question about it. When the chief of Pakistani army faces embarrassment, The only way he can redeem himself is by organizing a major atrocity in the Indian soil, which cannot be acceptable to any self respecting state or government. This situation cannot go on. Enough blood has been spilled, enough lives have been lost, enough tragedies have been enacted. There must be an end to it. But India cannot undertake this mission fraught with extreme danger, including nuclear winter, without the active and public support of the United States of America. I hate to say this, but that is the reality. Without the American support, this goal, this necessary bottom line goal of a regime change in Pakistan cannot even be thought of, much less planned. And that is also the significance of the timing of the attack, J.D. Vance, etc. It is up to the Indian acumen in diplomacy to play this either way. Now, clearly, America wants India to be a satellite, an economic satellite, a military satellite, and geopolitical satellite. This is very clear. America has been playing Pakistan to a large extent, has been for a long time, and very likely, the use of Pakistan, the kind of pivotal use that Pakistan had for America for nearly 7 decades, is exhausted. Now, with the changed American policy, which is China centric, it is not Pakistan, it is India that is to play the pivotal role for the American policy in this region. And America is aware of it, and that's rendered abundantly clear through the visit of J.D. Vance at this time. Pakistan senses it, and therefore the staging of this most repugnant event. We have to wait and see how New Delhi plays its cards in this regard. But one thing is absolutely certain: the subcontinent has been pushed to the edge. And let's hope and pray that the situation is handled effectively, meaningfully, in a very mature fashion. But the real issues are understood aright and problems solved on a more permanent basis. This is not a situation to be played with or politicized. We need cool heads on our shoulders, but courageous hearts as well. Maybe bold and risky solutions have to be resorted to. Radical surgeries may have to be conducted if a limb is putrefying, and if it is threatening the health of the rest of the organism, then radical surgery is resorted to. Likewise, in geopolitical terms also maybe sometimes radical surgery is required. What kind of surgery, etc., would be the expertise of the military generals and the political pundits of India, and those who are interested in the geopolitics of the region, particularly the United States of America. But then if America veers round to the Indian position, Pakistan is sure to throw itself into the lap of China, and that would push this entire region into the sort of crisis that we have never seen before, the sort of crisis that we can't even imagine, and therefore all of us need to be mindful of the extreme danger on the brink of which we are placed at the moment. Let's hope and pray that sanity prevails. But as I said, and I want to repeat that again, I would require, I would demand, I would expect, I would hope for decisive handling of the situation and the solving of this chronic problem, this running sore on the neck of India, on a permanent basis. And we cannot go on like this. It is necessary that peace is established on an enduring foundation, and all the methods adopted so far have not proved effective something different, something more decisive, something more tangible, something that's commensurate with the problem has to be evolved and implemented. And I wish the Indian administration, the Indian government, especially Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, and the entire cabinet, all the very best. And I wish them divine wisdom, divine guidance in handling this extremely explosive, nightmarish situation. And I pray that the people of India and Pakistan would be allowed to live in peace and harmony. Jai Hind.